What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and today we're going to talk about the huge win that Washington came out of against the Atlanta Falcons, 19-13 on a last-second tip by Daron Payne that was intercepted by Kendall Fuller. Whew, man. This was a close one, but this was a game that I said was the real trap game. Where everybody was focused on Houston, I said, no. This Atlanta team is the true trap game. And first, let me say this. I want to just tell y'all, happy Thanksgiving, happy past Thanksgiving for all of y'all. You know, I spent time with my family and everything, but to come back and to get this huge win is absolutely amazing. First, I gotta give credit where credit is due. Jack Del Rio adjusted in game. The fact that because remember y'all, one of my biggest pet peeves with Jack Del Rio was the fact that he doesn't make adjustments in game, and the fact that he relies on this four-man rush a little too much for my comfort. But guess what? He ran into a team that sat up there and said, we're not going to let that four-man front beat us. And he adjusted. He got John Ridgeway in there, made that a five-man front, started having the linebackers and the safeties come up, and found a way to try his best to stop that run, and at the same time make Mariota feel pain when he ran that ball. Fantastic adjustment, man. I tell you, Jack is absolutely dialed in. This defense is dialed in. They are looking fantastic. Brian Robinson, 100 yards rushing today. I mean, like, that is something that most people don't understand how, like, he was doing well. For a guy who got shot in his leg, the only reason why I know this is because I myself was shot. When it comes to your muscles coming back and you getting feeling in those muscles, it's not the same thing. So he must now have feeling in his muscles because he's been running absolutely hard. And he's been showing that he's not playing. Fantastic game by Brian Robinson. I would praise Scott Turner, but I'm not, because you know why? When you praise him, he comes back the next game and he screws up. So I'm not going to praise him, but I will say this. I'm glad he stuck with the run. There were times where, the old Scott Turner wanted to come in and he wanted to throw the ball, which is something he shouldn't be trying to do, especially on 3rd and 1. Again, another game where on 3rd and 1, he wants to throw the ball when the running game is working. But again, I'm not going to be too pissed off. I'm not going to be too angry. He did go ahead and stick with the run. I will say this. I'm not really certain if it was him that stuck with the run or if it's more Ron Rivera saying, keep running the ball. But 19-13, y'all, this is something. Again, Taylor Heinicke didn't have the best game. He threw a pick, almost threw another pick. That is true. But at the end of the day, somehow, some way, this team wins. With him, they win. You're talking about now the team is sitting here at 7-5, y'all. 7-5. Understand, not too long ago, we were 2-4. We were 2-4. We're now 7-5. Taylor Heinicke has won 5 games for us. 5. And has lost only 1. And understand this. Again, we may play, this may be revisionist history, but if John Ridgeway doesn't get that penalty, I think Taylor wins the Minnesota game as well. I mean, we're talking about a possible undefeated streak right now. But again, like I said, fantastic game. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a game that had you on pins and needles. It was a game that made you feel like, man, are they actually going to come out with this win? Are they actually going to do something that they're supposed to do? Are they going to make sure that the win is one that they can really pull out, especially down at the last minute? And I tell you, this defense finds a way to make a play. It finds a way to make a play. And, I mean, it's just no way of getting around it. I mean, there's so many things. I mean, for us to see Jack, who I've been complaining about for the longest, Jack actually showed that he could actually focus, zone in, make in-game adjustments, especially when he sees that something isn't working. And not only that, to do what Scott Turner fails to do, and that's abandon whatever the game plan is. This game plan don't work. All right, boom. Let's throw John Ridgeway in there. Let's make these adjustments, and let's go out there and stop this team. Because, again, this could have been one of those games that we lost. In the past, this is a game that we lose. And y'all all know that I'm telling the truth about this. In the past, this is a game that we lose. Because of the fact that something happens defensively, somebody misses a miscue, something happens, and all of a sudden they don't get the ball. And now we're also starting to see this team come away with takeaways that they never were getting at first. The first 4 games of the season, we were concerned about this defense. We were absolutely concerned about this defense. And now we're starting to see this defense come together. Like I said, they're playing at a playoff level. When it comes to this offense, I'm going to do a video because over the Thanksgiving holiday, I actually went back and looked at some of Washington's games. I'm going to do a video on how the Washington offense can now start playing playoff level football, because there are a lot of key things that Washington is not doing that if Scott Turner can get the spoon out of his behind, trust and believe, this offense can be operating at such a stellar level that teams will fear going against Washington, because Washington will be clicking defensively and offensively. But like I said, y'all, this was a game, man. And like I said, again, I told y'all, this was the one that I was concerned about. And I told y'all this was the true trap game, because of the fact that, like, the one thing I had to tell some of the people over Thanksgiving was that my big concern about Atlanta is that they have a 7-man offensive line. They do that a lot. And we saw it. We saw that 7-man offensive line. Like, they don't play. They bring in 2 tight ends. They don't care. And Atlanta goes to the point where they show you they're not going to run the ball. I mean, they're not going to throw the ball. They're just not going to throw the ball. They're going to run the ball, and you're going to have to stop them from running the ball. Like I said again, Atlanta, I was concerned about Desmond Ridder, because I know he can throw the ball. And the fact that we got Mariota, the fact that again, I can't praise him enough. Jack made a fantastic adjustment in game to move away, because we all seen Jack. Jack was so dependent on his 4-man front. The fact that we saw Jack sit up there and say, 4-man front ain't working, let me adjust, let me change it up. And again, the defense came up big. They came up big. And this is without Benjamin St-Juste. Understand, Benjamin St-Juste was out this game. Cole Holcomb, I think Cole is done for the season. They may not say it, but I think he is. Unless we make the playoffs, he might come back. But at this point right now, I think he's done it for the season. I mean, the fact that Benjamin St-Juste was out, And there wasn't the threat of Atlanta throwing a lot on us. So again, like I said, fantastic adjustment by Jack. I'm giving him credit. I'm giving Jack Del Rio credit because, again, we've seen him operate in a manner that seems like his scheme was outdated. And now we're starting to see him adjust. Maybe the whole time it was just him too busy occupying his time on Twitter. And now that he's off, he's able to focus a little bit better. And we see his level of focus now in guiding this defense. He's doing a fantastic job. All the defensive coaches are doing a fantastic job. Again, like I said, Scott Turner, he needs to get the spoon out his butt. He needs to get the spoon out his butt because he's what's holding this team back. And everybody can sit here and say Taylor and stuff like that. There's parts of Taylor's game that isn't the sharpest. But guess what? It was raining out there. And I'm pretty sure prior to the game, Taylor probably had some level of concern about throwing a wet ball. Because if anybody who's played football and has played football at a level and have tried to throw a wet football, it's the toughest thing to do. So with that, like I said, I'm not giving him a pass because he did throw a pick. But again, he shouldn't have been throwing that ball anyway because our run game was working. Our run game was working. And sometimes what happens is Scott, for some reason, feels the need to throw when the team isn't stopping what's been so successful. So, again, like I said, fantastic win. Washington is now 7-5 with a big matchup next week against the New York Giants. And the New York Giants, they are a scrappy team. They are a very scrappy team. And the fact that we got a big game coming up, again, this is another big game. If we can go into our bye at 8-5 with everybody healing up, we might see another team coming out of the bye. But like I said, I'll do my next video where I focus on the offense and give you guys the recipe on how this offense can now become a playoff-worthy offense and how Taylor Heineke helming this offense is going to make it a playoff-worthy offense. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Was this game the big game that you thought it was going to be? Are you excited that we're on a massive win streak? Do you feel that we're just hot at a good time? Tell me what you think. Other than that, this has been your man John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.